All right, listen. If you die, you don't get a promotion. So don't get hit. I hate you. I hate you. And I hate you. And I hate you. You suck.
Welcome to Your D&D Story. It's the show where we interview Dungeons & Dragon adventurers and have them roll dice in a mini adventure. Today we have Luke Hart. He is the creator of the DM Lair, where he shares his 20 plus years of dungeon mastering to help new and veteran dungeon masters level up their games. His creative writing background and team has helped him create dozens of free resources for DMs, Lair magazine, and has released 2 Kickstarters for 5th edition D&D so far. You can find all of Luke's resources on his website, and make sure to check out his YouTube channel and social medias. Links found in the description below. Luke, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up? I just want to emphasize I have an amazing team. Like the people that work with me, I could not do this without them. So like I'm here, you see my face, and you're all like, Luke, DM Lair, yay. But there are awesome people behind the scenes, like Zach and Ed and Sunny and Danny and Thomas and all the different moderators that we have and stuff, and all the freelancers we have and all the cartographers that we have and the people that do interior layout and design and all the artists that we commission artwork through. Like there's so many people that help us do what we do. I just want to give props to them because they deserve it.
Luke, so first question, which playable character did you bring for the mini adventure today, and describe them to us?
Okay, so I brought Gary, the Devourer of Souls. He is a level 4 kobold, and he has some weapons and stuff.
And he has the world's best voice, which is really the reason that we play Gary. Nobody actually cares too much about Gary except that he has a really cool voice. Thank you. Oh, and he's an intern trying to work his way up the corporate ladder.
Well, Gary, Devourer of Souls, somehow he has made his way into a rather well set up social gathering.
Oh, what kind of species are there?
Oh, this is a nobles house party, and there are many types. We have some half-orc paladins, elvish nobility that's come from afar. They're discussing land trips and stuff like that. We have humans. We have actually a few kobolds. They're waiting tables and they're dragging large silver platters around. And every so often you see one of them kind of still a bite to eat. We have a couple of goblins that have risen their way up in the military, and it's a little taken aback, but you do see some fully decorated goblins, like badges and medals going down. Something you've never seen before. You see a goblin cleric, but not like a goblin cleric of Grimish or something. No, they're wearing like a big old badge of Serenade, and there's literally every species around. There's a couple of Tengus, they're at the hors d'oeuvres, there's a couple of tieflings talking shop by a fireplace, just kind of laughing it up. And sitting at the head of a long table is a half-elf woman, and she's kind of clinking her dinner glass, and she's just gonna say, if I can have everyone's attention, please. You know this woman as River Tallstag, and what happened is that she actually brokered a treaty amongst all these warring clans. And that's where I'm just going to take a quick stop.
So Luke, you regularly dungeon master 4 different D&D games at a time. For you, what is the most enjoyable part of playing Dungeons & Dragons?
Killing everybody. Like I strive so hard to TPK them every single game. I actually have this thing where I talk to my wife before almost every game and I ask her, should I kill them today? And sometimes she'll say, no, let them live. Sometimes she'll say kill them. Sometimes she'll just say kill a couple. She likes to, sometimes she suggests I maim them and stuff like that. So I would say that the overall impetus for running Dungeons & Dragons is to inflict pain, misery, and suffering upon my players as much as possible. I love it when they do custom artwork commissions and get a nice, cool, they have a miniature that they paint just for their character. They'll get Dwarven Forge minis and stuff. I take special pleasure in slaughtering their characters when they go all out. Like if they have an elaborate backstory, they're dead. Within 15 minutes of arriving at the game.
We don't want to know about that.
What I enjoy is I like designing the games beforehand. I know that that's pleasurable. Like designing a homebrew adventure and stuff like that. I don't design a whole lot of monsters from scratch. I'll tweak things, but I know designing adventures is really fun for me. And I don't even know what it is. I can't even really describe it, but the act of running the game is just fun and it's enjoyable. And it's a very active thing too. When you're a player, you find yourself just waiting a lot, waiting for somebody else to take their turn, waiting for somebody else to talk. And I just lose interest very quickly as a player. But as a dungeon master, you're always on. Your brain is always working. You're always thinking. You're always listening to what they're saying and then planning what your NPC might say or do, or planning about what you're going to do because of this plan of theirs and how the dungeon and the monsters in it might react. And so it's just you're always doing something and it's very engaged, you know? And so I don't even know how to describe like why that's fun, you know, but there's just something about it. This is an unsatisfactory answer, but it's just immensely fun.
It's called being God. So as River Tallstag is clinking this glass to get everyone's attention, she is going to announce that I have brought all of you here, all of our clans. We have the Dung Eaters, and you see like the goblins kind of like. We have the Iron Teeth, and you see like this half-orc woman stand up, and then she kind of like slugs a guy to the stand. This big old orc is like half eating a chicken. And he stands up. We have the Silver Tears, and you see one of the kobolds stand up, and he has a tattoo of a silver tear, and it kind of falls off. He's like, picks it up, puts it back on. We have the Light Feathers, and you see the Kenku stand up, and she just kind of goes through and names all of the various clans that have shown up.
Does she name off the kobold clans?
The kobolds have kind of conglomerated into one big one. It's more of like all of these little clans form into massive cohesive units of their species in order to kind of sign these doctrines to make this treaty happen. And pretty much for kobolds, they had a swobold in the mix that just kind of said, I'm in charge. And they're just like, okay. If you don't know what a swobold is, it's one of my favorite types of kobolds. It's essentially the Dwayne Johnson of a kobold.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Happened to a Slim Jim kind of kobold. Just and he one showed up and he's just like, I'm in charge. And there's talk that their leader is actually a dragonborn that says he was a kobold, but no one's willing to fight him on that. So couldn't be in charge of the dragonborn, so he kind of moved over there.
Okay.
And she does mention, like, I have brought all of you here to kind of commingle, meet your new neighbors. I'm supplying all the food, all the drinks you can drink. I want you all to have a good old time. And when she kind of says, you know, it's an open bar, go ahead. You know, everyone just kind of like, oh, okay. And they kind of start wandering around. They do seem to be kind of keeping to themselves.
As she's giving her little speech or toast or whatever, I raise my hand and start jumping up and down.
Hello, I have a question.
And she's like, oh, is that one of the silvers? Yes, what's your question?
I don't know why I'm here.
Everyone, please enjoy your food. And she's going to kind of like wander over to you, and she's going to put an arm around you, and she's going to kind of like lift you onto the table to get closer to you.
And be careful there.
And she's like, it's fine.
Oh, it might not be fine.
Look, Gary, you wanted coin, yes?
Well, coin, perhaps a soul or two to devour. You know, I'll tell you what, right now my company match on our 401k is only 3%. And if we could get that up to 5%, then I would be very happy.
Well, Gary, I've heard tell that there's a few people that are trying to mess with this party. And if you can kind of figure out who they are, well, that's like free real estate for souls, isn't it? No one here is going to begrudge you taking them.
No, I could just start stabbing people one by one until I kill the ones that are responsible.
Oh, well, but if you try and do that, Gary, someone might stab you.
I would stab them back then.
So, Gary, what I'm going to do, and she's going to hand you a little silver ear, and she's going to say, so this is going to allow you to listen in to anyone up to 15 feet away.
Oh, well, how am I going to stab them from 15 feet away?
Well, we're just going to have to leave that up to you, Gary. And then you're going to feel a small pinch as she latches it onto your head.
Oh.
And it's just going to kind of meld back in. And so, Gary, give me your first Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
To see if the sudden burst of sound doesn't disorientate you.
I'm good at these. I got a 14.
14?
Yeah.
A sudden burst of sound rings through your head, and all of a sudden your eyeballs just kind of pop a little bit, and then you're like, oh, okay, I got it.
Holy crap!
You hear everything in the room, and it's kind of like taking you aback, because it's like not like you can filter them out, but you kind of realize, like, if you put your hand, as the silver ear is kind of melded into you, it kind of disappears. You can cup your hand, and wherever you kind of direct it, you can hear what they're saying. So let's get a perception check to see if you can find anything out of the ordinary.
All right, and I'm gonna focus my attention especially on merchants. I got a 17, but any merchants that look like they have opportunity to rise in the corporate ladder. Like, if perhaps they look like they're short a few servants or a few workers, anything that I might be able to advance myself.
So as you're kind of looking around like, which one of these SOBs looks like they got money? And you kind of focus around, you do see a large man, Lord Maglimik. And he is a fat, balding, like he's got chicken grease in his mustache. And he's kind of like pushing these other poor little kobold servants around, like, get away from me. And then he's like just snatching things off of tables. And he's talking to a Lady Gar. And she is an elvish woman. And he's simply going, look, all I'm saying is if this goes amiss, there's no business like war. And I would like to make sure that you and he tries to hold her hand, and she's like, oh, are, for lack of a better word, good bedfellows. And he puts like this creepy yellowish smile at her. And she's just kind of like, picks up her drink and walks away. And let's go ahead and take Hector's next question.
So, Luke, in 2016, you started running a D&D game for your daughter and some of her 10-year-old friends. What advice would you give to a DM who's preparing to run their first D&D adventure for young children?
Okay, first, kids 10, 12 years old are crazy intelligent, all right? They can run the full D&D game. You don't need to get some watered down starter like kids version. That's horse crap. Run the actual D&D game. They can totally get it. Some of my players were more interested than others, but the ones that were interested, they picked it up and it was great. So don't worry about them not understanding it. They'll figure it out. Second, you could run the standard adventures. You don't got to water it down for kids. Cut down on your language, maybe your descriptions of blood and gore and stuff like that. But you can run the standard D&D games, where they're heroes and they're defeating monsters. It's not, you don't have to somehow filter this stuff. You know what I mean? You don't want to use adult language maybe and describe things in a way that's inappropriate. You know what I mean? And the other thing is that kids, one thing I found is, this is interesting. Half of the group was boys, half was girls. The boys wanted to kill everything and the girls wanted to talk to everything. Let's just talk. Let's not fight. Let's just talk. And the boys they're in the middle of combat and the girls are trying to still talk their way out of it. And the boys are fighting and they end up TPKing because the girls weren't helping and the guys were doing it all. And then it was an interesting dynamic. It was fun. But you want to build your game to cater to those interests, right? Mm-hmm. So combat and stuff like that, but lots of social interactions, for the players that like that, And then the one thing I recommend for kids that I don't recommend for adults is do give them lots of cool loot and magic items, Make that game really fun and enjoyable for them. They're getting cool stuff. They feel awesome. And for adults, I don't necessarily do that, but for kids, I kind of just go all out and give them a whole bunch of stuff, just to kind of make it more enjoyable for them. So that's like my exception to the don't give out too many magic items rule that I usually have.
That makes sense.
So, can I do something now? I just saw him do this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to Lord Maglimik.
Excuse me, Mr. Chicken Grease. I can probably help you.
And Maglimik is, as he's sitting there with this greasy hand on a goblet, he's gonna look down at you. Oh, good, I needed a refill. And he's just gonna hand you the goblet.
In one swift motion, I take my dagger out, slap the goblet away, and resheath it.
I'm not here for that. I deal in the business of war.
When you say that, he's gonna very quickly kind of look around, and the goblet hitting the ground has already caused a bunch of eyes to come on you guys. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, young man. Shut up.
I'm a kobold. I'm not a man.
And he's gonna get real down low. Look here, you little gecko.
No, kobold. Kobold.
Tree frog, whatever you are. We keep things civil in these kinds of places. Do you understand me?
I heard you from 15 feet away with my special ear when you were talking to that lady about war. I know everything.
I don't know what you're talking. And he's trying to put his hand over your face.
I bite his finger. Not hard, but a little nibble to let him know that that's not acceptable.
As you crack into his finger, you just hear him go, ah! And he is going to attempt to swing at you.
Now, does this finger taste like chicken grease?
It really does.
I lick it too.
This large man is going to launch an unarmed strike at you. Oh, he does a negative. 18. With a negative, 18. You have an 18?
18.
With a negative, he gets a 16. And he tries to slap you broadside, and you just duck. As he completely misses, he is going to fall to the ground, and he's going to start screaming, I'm being assaulted by these kobolds!
I jump on top of his chest, and I just start doing a little chicken dance.
Lady River is going to immediately come up to you, and she's like, Lord Maglimik, I'm so sorry. And she's going to kind of try to drag you away. And as she's dragging you away, Maglimik is just sitting there being fanned by his attendants, and he's like, he came for my life. We're going to go ahead and take our next question.
You suck, Mr. Chicken Grease.
So I was looking into your Into the Fake Kickstarter, and you provided an alternative system to traditional experience leveling and milestone leveling called Quest Point System. What was the inspiration behind it, and what are the pros of using this system instead?
So experience points has a lot of flaws to it, right? And then milestones is a better system, in my opinion, and the majority of people use milestone this day.
Right.
And the thing with milestone is, let's pretend that there's a level 3 quest and you're level 5, right?
Okay.
And you go do this low level quest at level 5. Do you still get a milestone from it, even though it was like crazy easy, right? Like, you know, you're doing a trivial quest, but you're getting a milestone and getting level 6. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What if you could, as a level 5 group, go to a level 3 quest and do it, and it's sure it's easy,
right,
but you don't get a whole level out of it, but you get points toward leveling. And so the idea is a way for people or groups to be able to level up by doing easier or harder quests when they go through a module in a non-linear fashion. So that was the whole idea behind it.
I like a lot because of it gives meaning even for those smaller quests, right? Because a lot of times, like, here's the hanging fruit, you got to do this quest for the level up, and none of this over here really that matters, you know, unless you tackle that quest.
And the beauty of the quest point system too is you can literally take it and apply it to any module that you have. And so there's a system that I put in our Kickstarter Into the Fae that you can literally just take out of there and apply to anything, and then you can use quest point leveling for any module. So the system is kind of explained in there and laid out, so you can just transport it and use it anywhere.
So as you're sitting there, you chicken grease mother! River has dragged you all the way back to her seat, and she's like, Gary, look at me. She's gonna try and get your face.
I'm licking the chicken grease off my fingers.
Yeah.
Gary, I can see you're making friends. So what I want you to do is I want you to go make more friends.
Oh.
Can you do that for me?
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to hand you a little leather pouch. She says, okay, do you see that elven woman over there? And she's going to point out to this very beautiful silver-haired woman. She has about 3 guards with her, and they're very sociable. They're talking with people. One of the guards is like talking with a half-orc. The other ones are kind of talking with a few humans. And she's going to say, I want you to go give her a drink. And then she's going to hand you a goblet. And she's like, do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah, can I drink half of it first because I'm thirsty?
And she's just gonna fill it, and then she's gonna put her hand on the little leather pouch before you give her the drink. Do you understand what I'm asking you to do?
No, we're gonna poison her and kill her. Yeah.
No, we're flavoring the drink.
With poison.
No, Gary.
Well, it can't be venom.
No, Gary.
Poison is ingested. Venom has to go into the bloodstream. Everybody knows this. Is it acid?
Gary, she's just gonna start pouring the drink in your mouth. Gary, just drink. Drink, Gary.
What does it taste like?
It's like a really cheap grape wine. It's not the best.
Well, Gary's probably not refined enough to know the difference.
This is delicious. Thank you.
I grab the goblet and just start.
And she is going to refill it. She's like, okay, Gary. She's just gonna scoot you on your way towards her.
Okay. Did you already put the poison in?
And she's already like, nope, not even wandering away.
Okay.
All right, so Gary goes up to this elven woman.
Is Gary going to try and hide putting this poison, or is he like, ma'am, hold this, or what are you going to do?
Like, I was told to give the drink to her, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna just walk up to the elven woman.
Hello. How are you?
And Miss Orid is going to look at you and, hello, little one. How can I help you?
Well, I find myself in an unfortunate situation right now.
What's wrong?
Well, they gave me this goblet of wine, and it's very delicious. Well, my stomach is full.
Oh, you don't have to drink it.
Yeah, but you're very pretty.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah, I wanted to give this to the most prettyful woman in the whole room.
Oh.
Is she actually pretty or is not?
Oh, no, she's drop dead gorgeous. Yeah, she's
okay. Cool.
got a 17 in that charisma. She's good.
Yeah, so my mom and dad were mean to me when I was young.
And she's giving like a really sympathetic stare. Now, are you completely bullshitting her, or is this Gary's real backstory?
Oh, it's probably a lie.
Okay, let's give me a deception check.
3.
Oh my God.
What happened?
She's got a 2 on the die. She's just like, oh my God, you poor thing.
Yeah, I was horrible. They cut my tail off. It got better, though.
It's like she's looking at your tail like, oh, did those grow back?
Well, kobolds, they sometimes do. It just depends. If you're young enough, they grow. It's like baby teeth, you know? If you're young enough, they grow back.
She's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, she pulls up a smaller chair for you. And she's like, here, tell me more. So what are you doing here at the party? Are you part of the Silver Tier clan?
Well, that River Salstag lady invited me here for a special mission.
A mission, you say?
Yeah.
What's your mission?
Well, apparently there are bad people here, and I have to find out who they are.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what they're trying to do?
She didn't tell me, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to kill everyone.
Oh my goodness. You know what?
Are you thirsty?
Oh, I am so parched. And she's going to take the, are you offering her the goblet? She's going to take the goblet, and one of her soldiers is going to go up, and he just very quickly dips a finger, tastes it.
Hey, that's for the lady. That's for Miss Orin.
And he kind of looks at you and smiles a little bit, and he's like, it's clean, man. And she's
Well,
like,
not anymore. You just put your finger in it. What's wrong with you?
And she's like, it's okay. It's his job. And she's going
Put
to
his finger in stuff? Does he put his finger in your cake? What about in your roast beef? Does he just put it in everything?
And she looks at him, and he looks at her. He's like, no, sir, she's married. And he's like, very uncomfortable silence. The other guard's looking at him like, bro.
I think we found one of the bad people.
And Miss Orin is just very gonna like, okay, well, she's gonna start drinking, and she's like, why don't you go run along? And she's gonna send you off on your merry way.
Thank you, pretty lady. It was good talking with you. Bye now. Drink all of that.
And as she's like, okay. And River is just across the room staring daggers at you as you just have in your other fist the pouch of poison that you did nothing with.
Oh, crap. Wait.
I go running back toward the noble woman.
I forgot.
And as you're screaming, I forgot, we're going to go to our next question.
You often open your YouTube videos with funny skits. In the skits, you commonly portray a stereotypical barbarian, fighter, rogue, warlock, and wizard. Who would win in a battle royale to the death among these 5 characters?
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to tell you that the barbarian would absolutely win in a battle royale. And let me tell you why. Because the rogue is a backstabbing little traitor. And so everybody would probably kill him first because they don't trust him.
Makes sense.
The wizard, all the wizard ever does is cast fireball. So everybody would already have drank their potions of fire resistance and stuff. And then they would team up on the wizard and the wizard would die. And the paladin is actually a fighter. He doesn't even wear any armor on his body. He only wears a helmet. Right. And so we would just do a called shot and stab him and he'd be dead. Now, if we're dealing with the warlock is really the only situation where there would be any sort of contest here because the warlock has Eldritch Blast. And as you all know, Eldritch Blast has that really stupid pushback thing that you can get on it, where you have no saving throw whatsoever. You get hit by it and you get pushed back 10 feet. And then he has 3 of them. And so I would run at him and he'd be blast, blast, blast. My armor class is very low. And so I'd get pushed back 30 feet. I'd run at him again. Blast, blast, blast. I get pushed back 30 feet. You see, this is like the big critical flaw with that pushback attack on warlocks is that there's no saving throw and it's ridiculous. So I might actually die versus the warlock. But anybody else, I am the clear winner. And that's the true story.
I felt like that was appropriate to clap for that. I forgot what I was going to say after that, but that was amazing. Let's continue here with the story.
Gary is currently running back. Way!
Yeah, I have to put the poison in. I forgot to put the poison in. Hold on.
I'm running.
As you say that, Orin is just, she's going to look at you. What?
I didn't put it in yet. I forgot to. Well, give me the goblet.
She's just going to hand you the goblet.
Yeah, no, just wait. Just wait a second.
And she's going to like pull her guards in, like
start
whispering something to them.
Wait. Okay, it's ready now.
She's going to look at you and say, like, oh, you got a little something on your mouth.
No, I don't. You need to drink this goblet.
And she's going to take it from you. And let's see if you notice what she's going to do. Give me a perception check.
10.
She's just going to very casually switch the mugs right in front of you.
Do I notice?
With a 1, yes. She's got a 1. And she's just going to go, poisony.
Hey, River, she's drinking the wrong one. What do I do?
And River is just across the room.
sorry, Miss Oren, you drank from the wrong one. You need to drink from the one that has the poison in it. Like, this is the way this works.
And she's like, "Oh, it's okay, Gary. I'm going to save this for later.
Oh,
No, I don't want to be poisoned here because we're eating, and it might upset my tummy."
that actually makes sense. Okay.
And you're going to start seeing like chaos just kind of ream through the party. You see like the elves start talking with the humans are talking with the dwarves talk with the half-orcs. The Kenkus are none the wiser. They've perched up on a higher platform, and they're kind of laughing and enjoying the party from overhead. And eventually you do see like a elven man kind of run up the side of one of these pillars and whisper something to the Kenkus, and you just start hearing loud, "Ah! What?" And they're freaking out, and you're just walking around, and River is like, "Come here. Come here."
I'm gonna go over to the kobolds and recruit a few of them to come with me.
They're sitting there, like you as you walk up to them, and they're like taking these silver platters. You can see like their little vests are already stuffed with food, and there is one like huge kobold. Like this guy works out, and he's the one that's loading the trays for them.
Hey, how's your health insurance, guys? Is it pretty good? Is it up to date?
What's health insurance?
Now, do you have a PPO or HMO? This might matter.
We work and they feed us.
Okay, that'll do. All right, I need all of you to come with me. We're going to retire today.
And they're gonna kind of look around like, "Boss, what does retire mean?" And the large one's gonna kind of look around like, "Retire is when you put a new wheel on the wagon."
No, retire is when you have enough food to last you the rest of your life.
No. When you're this tall, you can tell me what retire is.
You're not even a kobold. You're a dragonborn.
You take that back. You don't know my life.
You guys, you're following a dragonborn. He's not even a legitimate leader.
And as you look at him, he is clearly a dragonborn. There is no koboldness in his face.
He's a cheater. Cheater.
And he's going to look at the smaller ones like, "If you leave with him, you're out of the clan."
You can't lead a clan. You're not a kobold. It's my clan. All of you work for me now. All right?
Give me a persuasion check.
All right. Ooh, I'm good at this.
I like where this is going.
7 and a +4, and I got a 7.
Let's see. Oh my god, I am rolling terrible today. You have 3 kobold minions with you now.
All right.
Okay, boys, let's go.
As I walk away with my 3 kobold minions, I call back to the dragonborn.
Loser. Loser.
He is just gonna like look around, defeated, and just start stealing food off the tables. Like he's getting ready to leave.
All right, I take my 3 minions and I go toward River. Oh, I'm gonna pass out daggers to the 3 kobolds. Be like, "Get ready."
Get ready, boys. We might need to use these.
And as you're handing them the daggers, their hands are a little bit stained and greased from handling all this food. But, they kind of right on the vest. They're doing their best to hold it with 2 hands. So you have just 3 kobolds just walking with you like this, armed. And River is calling you over, but she appears to be holding something behind her back.
Oh.
I'm gonna put my hand down on the hilt of my rapier and get ready to go. And I keep my distance from her, about 15 feet away.
Okay, what do you got to tell me? I have the special ear on. I don't have to get any closer. You can whisper. You can whisper.
Gary, I have a present for you.
Yeah.
It's a fun present. It's a present that only you deserve. Why don't you come get it?
Okay, I have a present for you too. Yeah.
Why don't you come closer and give it to me, Gary?
All right, boys.
And I'm gonna whisper to my kobolds.
Have any of you ever rolled initiative before?
You see him pull out some dice.
I'm going up to Rivers, and I got this rapier ready to if I need to.
All right, let's roll initiative.
Right.
How about we answer a question before we get the results?
All right.
You have read thousands of cardinal sins made by dungeon masters against their players. If you were to write the 10 commandments of dungeon mastering, what would it be?
I think the first one, the very biggest one, is when the dungeon master is trying to win. When it's dungeon master versus players. Like, when I run a game, I have challenging games. But there's a part of me that's always like, I want them to win. I want the characters to win. I don't want them to die. I want them to win. I'm going to give them a hard fight. right? And if they die, they die, but I don't want them to. And so I think that a dungeon master's goal should be to run a game. And if it is a challenging game, that's fine. It depends. Every table's different, but you really should be rooting for your players to win. You in your heart of hearts, you want them to win, even though you're giving them a run for their money. And I think that is a much better mentality that will lead to a more enjoyable game for everybody. Next, not being prepared, not getting the adventure ready beforehand and not knowing your stuff and just kind of showing up and just running stuff on the fly. 3, not knowing the rules. The hard part is that there are so many rules. You can't know them all. But there are some rules that just come up all the time in like almost every game that you should probably know just from doing it a lot. But at the very least, you should have a basic understanding of the core rules, the things that come up a lot, and then you should know where to reference and find rules as well. It's not doing your players a good service. It's not doing your game a service when you don't know the rules. Prioritizing the story above gameplay. And this usually culminates with a dungeon master who wants to tell a story and not run a game. And these are two elements that have to coexist. There are the game elements that must be there. I'm rolling dice. They're helping determine what happens. You know, we're making deception checks or I'm making attack rolls. We're doing damage and stuff. But there's also a story. And so the dungeon master shouldn't be determining what the story is ahead of time. They should develop a situation, let the players do what they're going to do, and then you see what the story actually turns out to be. And it might be something totally different that the dungeon master thought might happen. And that is going to have a good balance, a better balance between gameplay and story. Stealing player agency, not allowing the players to control their own characters. The dungeon master controls everything in the game world. You control the NPCs, the monsters who are NPCs. You can design the cities, you can design the empires, you can make land masses and continents. You can do anything in that game world. I don't understand why some dungeon masters get it in their heads that they also need to control the players' characters. Like, that's all a player has is their character. Let them run their character. Don't take away their agency. Let them make their own decisions and do their own thing. So I'm just going to give you 5 because I'm long-winded.
Oh,
That's a solid 5.
All right, let's get back to the game here.
All right, why don't you tell me Gary's?
19.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary's going to go first. So because these 3 are technically your minions, they will act after you on your turn.
Okay.
So you can dogpile, do whatever you want. River will be going after you. So you have the top of the initiative.
Can I see that she has like pulling out a weapon or something at this point?
You see the handle of something, and it looks pretty heavy behind her back.
I'm going to make a disarming strike against her. I'm going to try to knock that out of her hand.
Okay.
So I rolled an 18 to hit.
Unfortunately, it is not enough.
What?
Holy crap!
I'm not liking that.
So as you kind of lunge, she had enough foresight to kind of quickly sidestep. And River, she's able to pull these kind of strings for a reason. All right. You do have your 3 minions, though, that are free to act.
Okay, yep. They're...
All right, boys, get her!
And my kobolds launch themselves forwards, stabbing with the daggers, and they're not very good at this, so they're probably going to miss. We have a 13 to hit, we have a 18 to hit, and then we have a 20 to hit.
Yeah, the 20 will hit.
All right, 20 hits. I'll use average damage for them, so 4 points of piercing damage.
Ooh, and he gets her good in the arm. So as these 3 are going, she's kind of sidestepping back and forth, but there's just so many little ahs coming at her that one of them catches.
Yeah, take that!
River is going to go ahead and she's just going to crack the nearest kobold, probably the one that stabbed her.
Uh-oh.
So that will be a 16.
Oh yeah, that hits.
So that's going to be 10 damage to the kobold as from behind her back she pulls out this large warhammer and just crams it onto this kobold's head.
His head just, there's skull, bits of bone go flying, brain is exposed, and the kobold just crumples to the ground into a pile. The other 2 kobolds' eyes go wide, and they're both got holy crap on their faces, and Gary says,
All right, listen, if you die, you don't get a promotion. So don't get hit.
So as River crushed this kobold and you're screaming this out, a lot of the other guests immediately start pulling it. What looked like a nice dinner party has turned to chaos. The orcs out of nowhere are pulling out like these large rocks that they've been carrying. The elves, their belts are actually unloosening and these very rail thin blades are coming out. The kenkus are shaking their feathers and daggers are falling out.
Man.
The humans are like pulling the blades out. There's one dwarf in the back. They actually disassemble him and all of his parts come out. and you see hammers, swords, shields coming out, and all of a sudden, Maglimik is just like, can we all just finish dinner? And with that, you just see a large rock go flying and crack him in the face, and it turns into a full-on ballroom brawl. And it is your turn again, Gary.
All right. Gary is going to launch himself forward at Rivers again, trying to stab her. And 8 to hit.
Oh, unfortunately, no.
I'm going to pull out my dagger and use my bonus action to try to hit her. 9 to hit.
This
No,
sucks.
unfortunately.
This stupid bullcrap.
I'm going to action surge now.
Oh, wow.
And then use my rapier to try to hit her again. I got an 8.
I hate you. I hate you. And I hate you. And I hate you. You suck.
And then I point at the other 2 kobolds.
All right, boys. Do better than I did.
And they're going to launch themselves at her. And a 9 to hit and a 17 to hit, which I think still misses.
No, unfortunately, does not hit.
Oh, crap.
River, you just see her huck this back up, and she's going to go after another kobold. Not you, though. Oh, no! And as she's going after one of your minions, she slips in the ichor from the first one, and just wham! The hammer comes on the ground, misses everything completely. With that, because she slipped, yeah, she is technically prone now.
Oh, perfect.
She just completely golf swing one, missed, and fell. So she will take a -4 to AC for the next round. As this chaos is going down, give me a perception check, Gary.
12.
With a 12, you do see what looks like a very fancy looking dagger skidding across the ground, shaped like a feather. And it does look like it came from one of the Kenkus.
Oh, that's nice. I'm going to scoop down and use my free interact with the environment action to scoop that dagger up if I can.
As you pick this dagger up, a gust of wind kind of whirls around it, and you have the full-on sense that it's got something going on with it, that it is enchanted.
Well, who is it heading toward?
It looked like it had been thrown at somebody,
Huh.
plinked off something, and it just skidded across the ground.
Okay, then I'm going to use this momentum from this gust of wind and whirl it at Rivers and try to get like maybe advantage or something with the magic of that spell aiding it to hit her.
You got it. Give me your attack roll.
23
23, and this will give you a +2.
for 7 points of damage.
Yes, as the whirlwind from this dagger slices into her, you see her, what looked like a beautiful ball gown, get kind of torn away, and underneath, she is fully decked out in chainmail. And her big puffy sleeves, it looks like they were hiding her equipment.
Traitor.
Traitor.
So that was probably my action to redirect that dagger, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to stab her with my bonus action using my dagger. 18 to hit.
Did you use the new dagger you just acquired?
Oh,
That's a +2.
Sure. Okay, yeah, sure. That's a 20 to hit then,
Oh, heck yeah.
which is going to make it 9 points of force damage. And I also I'm going to expend a superiority die on this. And my superiority die is going to be for a disarming attack. And it adds an extra D8 of damage to it. So it's going to do a tiny bit more damage. That's 6 more points of damage. And
Oh, wow.
she needs to make a strength saving throw, DC 13, or she loses her
Okay.
hammer.
With a 6, that little dagger is just clicked right into her fingers, and you wrench her hand open, and that hammer goes flying.
Awesome.
She is officially unarmed.
All right, where did the hammer land? Was it kind of far away from her?
That hammer's going to go flying about 10 feet.
Okay, and then I'm gonna like slide around her so that I'm between her and the hammer,
Okay.
wherever it landed.
Yep, and you just slide right into position.
All right,
You
and
do
then-
have your 2 minions.
Yep, and they are gonna gang up on her. Oh, they have pack tactics. We all have pack tactics. I should have been rolling with advantage this whole time. Okay, here we go. All right, now with advantage, a 15 misses her, and a 21.
No, she has a -4 to her AC right now.
Oh, she's on the ground.
She's
That's right.
prone? She's
Yeah.
prone now.
So a 15 hit.
Yep.
Okay, so these 2 kobolds jump on top of her and begin
Stabbing and stabbing away.
total of 8 points of damage.
As they are just going ham on River, you just see these splurts of blood going up, and they're just like, ah, going completely insane on her, and she's gurgling. She's not quite down, but she sees her parents in the afterlife. She's like, hands barely being raised up. River, with probably her last breath, she is going to bash one of these kobolds in the face with a fist. Well, let's see. It's 1 plus her
Strength modifier.
Our last guest taught me that. So all you see is this hand go boom through a kobold's head.
Oh.
Because it was a crit.
Oh.
Oh, no promotion for that one.
I look at the last remaining kobold minion.
You know, if you stay alive, you're going to be my right-hand man. You're going to be my new CFO.
And she is going to attempt to stand up, which will trigger. So you have an attack of opportunity.
Okay, we'll
She's
take
going to
it.
try and get her AC back.
Now, do I? We have advantage anyway because pack tactics. So my rapier, actually that should have been the magical dagger, which will be a 26 to hit, and damage on that is 9 points of damage.
How's that feel?
And before she tells you that, let's get our question from Hector.
All right. It's not very often that D&D creators have their own convention. How did Laircon 2022 came to be, and what can attendees expect if they go this year?
The whole idea of Laircon happened. It started last year in 2021. And basically what happened is everybody who works for me, my whole team member and stuff is all across the different parts of the US, some are in different countries even.
Right.
And I really wanted to meet a lot of them. I wanted to see them in person and stuff. And so my idea was, hey, let's have a get together, where a lot of us, the people that work on the DM Lair team, we can get together, we can hang out and stuff. But then in my mind, I was like, but you know what? If we're going to come get together, we're going to have a place where we can get together and hang out. We might as well just make this a convention. And then anybody can come and we can play D&D and stuff. And that's how it all started. I wanted to get together. We turned it into a convention. Now this year, 2022, we have, we're going to be in Pensacola, Florida, October 7th, 8th, and 9th. And we have a much better venue. We have the conference center at the University of West Florida, and it looks beautiful. There's a downstairs lobby, an upstairs lobby. There's a nice ballroom, and then there's a lounge where we can have our premium games and our VIP games. And essentially what people can expect is it's a much smaller convention. There's probably going to be, we have a capacity of about 200 tops for the entire thing. So it's a much smaller convention. There's not a whole lot of, there's not going to be vendors and stuff like that just want to take your money. But basically what there is going to be is there's going to be D&D games. There's going to be RPG games, tabletop games. I'm going to be there. A lot of my team members are going to be there, and I love meeting and talking to people. So I make it a point to go around constantly and just talk to people and hang out with people. And so it's just going to be fun. You get to meet me and my teams, hang out with us, and then play D&D and have fun.
No, sounds
awesome.
Sounds super exciting.
So as you're like, how do you like that? River is reaching for your face, and right as she's about to touch you, you just hear her say, "You're gonna burn," and she's just gonna slump. And when River goes down, the fighting that's kind of going on in the background kind of slows down a little bit, and you see a lot of cuts, you see a lot of bruises, and you see the orc has the elf in the in a headlock, and he's the punching slowing down, and he's just like, "Bro, I think she's dead."
Yeah,
and
she's
the elf,
dead. I killed her.
and they kind of look around and they're just like, "Oh hell." And the orc immediately not telling her husband. And when he says that, everyone in the party seems to stiffen up. There is visible worry on all of their faces. And as everyone is now sweating bullets, you hear a very nonchalant coming from up in the rafters. "Who's not going to tell me what?"
I killed your wife, apparently, and the orc doesn't want to tell you. So there. Now, I just want to let you know that this kobold right here, he's going to be my CFO. That's Chief Financial Officer. So if you could not kill him, I would appreciate it, because I don't like doing math.
And as you're kind of looking up at these shadows, yelling at whoever was talking, you see a very rail-thin, dark-skinned elf just effortlessly land in front of you.
Oh, are you a vampire?
And he just kind of gets real close. He goes, "Worse. I'm a necromancer."
Oh,
And
that's...
he just throws a hand on you, a hand on River, and he says, "We're going to have some fun."
I like
And that
this.
is... I like it. That is where we're going to end our adventure today.
All right.
Always got to leave him on a cliffhanger.
Oh, man.
Always incentivizes. That means something can happen next time.
All right, so Luke, so you survived for now, and who knows telling what's going to happen next time. But is there anything on your mind right now, or anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I do this thing in the morning where I have a journal and stuff, and one of the things I do is just a gratitude thing where I write down things that I'm grateful for, And one of the things that comes up frequently is the team I work with. Everybody on the DM Lair team, that I mentioned before at the very beginning of this. So a shout out to all of them. I'm very grateful for everything they do, all the hard work and everything. Like I literally couldn't do all of the crazy stuff that we're doing without them. I think the biggest thing on my mind right now is we have Laircon coming up, and so I kind of want folks to come out to that so I can meet them and all that stuff. But, we have lots of stuff that we do. Obviously, we do the videos. We have a Patreon with Lair Magazine that has Game Master resources for you. And then we have the Kickstarters that we just did, that has more Game Master resources. My goal is really just to help game masters make their lives easier, give them resources so that they can run their games with less prep time, hopefully improve their games. And then the videos are all designed to just give them advice and help them to learn things the easy way as opposed to maybe the harder way and stuff, because game masters are the lifeblood of our hobby. If you don't have game masters, you don't have games. Nobody plays. And we know that there are always more players than there are game masters,
Yes.
And a game master can always find people to play in their game. They just got to look a little bit, but players can't always find games to play in. And so my team and I do our very best to help game masters as much as possible, and so which is why we do all the stuff that we do, besides the sweet loot. That's all that I got in my mind right now. Just there you go, boom.
Well, I hope you had fun.
Absolutely.
All right, nice meeting you.
Thanks,
Definitely.
Bob.
We'll have to-
Yeah, likewise.
All right.
This was awesome, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
My wife's been on my butt, so I'll see you guys.
All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.